Okay. Well, hello. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Chris Hunter. I'm here representing the Bay Area Regional Energy Network. I'll explain in just a minute what we are, but if you own or manage a multifamily property in San Mateo or Santa Clara counties, you are in the right place. If you own or manage property elsewhere in the Bay Area, or you live at an HOA or condo community, you are also in the right place. We have lots of good information for you. So welcome. If this is not what the event you meant to join, still happy to have you, and you can hang on as long as you want. So today we will be covering some local government programs that can help you upgrade your multifamily property to make it more comfortable, more energy efficient, and save both you and your tenants money. So before we get going, a few quick housekeeping notes. We are using a webinar format tonight, so everyone is automatically muted and has their videos turned off. So if you have questions that come up throughout the presentation, please use the Q&A box down below. There's a chat box and a Q&A box. If you have questions related to the content of the presentation, we ask that you use the Q&A box so that everyone can see our response to you. If you are having issues hearing us or seeing the slides, you can go ahead and use that chat box to let us know. And then the presentation is being recorded after the event, likely tomorrow afternoon. I will be sending a follow-up email to all the participants with a link to the recording and the slides, and then links to any programs and resources that are mentioned. So quickly, what we'll be covering today. I'm just going to start with a little bit of background on who BayRent is and why we're here talking to you today. And then get into the program that we offer. We call it the Bay Area Multifamily Building Enhancements Program. So give an overview of that program, the key benefits and offerings of the program. And then we'll hear from one of the program consultants, who would be one of the consultants that you work with if you decide to participate. She'll explain the journey of what it's like to go through the program, what some of the common upgrades are, get a little bit into the technical aspects of what we offer. And then we'll come back and cover some additional programs that are relevant to you, some information on how to get started. And then finally, we have a great presentation from the 3 community choice aggregation organizations serving the 2 counties. And so we will hear from them in a little bit about some other programs that they offer. And then finally, we hope to have about 10 minutes left at the end for Q&A. So if you put a question into the chat and we can't answer it throughout the presentation, we'll make sure to come back to that at the end so everyone's questions get answered. So I want to start just with a little poll just to see who's in the room. So if you wouldn't mind answering these 3 questions, just so we can get a sense of who we're talking to today. So where are you located, what types of properties you manage or own. And I'll keep this open for about 60 seconds. Give it about 10 more seconds. So if you haven't filled out the poll yet, please go ahead and do that, and then I'll share the results. Okay. Just waiting on a few, but I'm going to go ahead and end that. Okay, so it looks like we have mostly property owners with a few managers in the group, which is great. Pretty even split between San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. Doesn't look like anyone else is from outside of those 2 counties, so that makes it a little bit simpler. And then it looks like most of you represent small to medium-sized properties, so anywhere from 5 up to 100 units. So that's helpful for us. Thanks to everyone who answered that. And now we can go ahead and actually get to the content of the presentation. So like I said, I am with the Bay Area Regional Energy Network, or BayREN as we call it. BayREN's a collaboration of local government agencies representing the 9 counties that make up the Bay Area. And the mission of BayREN is to help the state meet its climate goals by offering a wide variety of energy saving programs. And so we offer rebates, incentives, and educational services for single family homeowners, multifamily property owners, small business owners, as well as some training and resources for local government staff, realtors, really a wide range of stakeholders that we work with. But today, of course, we will be talking about our multifamily program. And so we have with us representatives, BayREN representatives from the County of San Mateo and the County of Santa Clara. So with San Mateo, I think we have Denise on the line. If you want to say hello.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you all. And I will put my email in the chat in case you want to reach out with any other questions on sustainability or accessing BayREN programs and rebates.
And then with Santa Clara, we have Tonya Veach and Nicole Nguyen. If you were both available.
Hi everyone, Tonya Veach here, and Nicole and I are happy if you're from Santa Clara County that you were able to join us this evening, and we look forward to working with you on your energy efficiency journey. So thank you so much for being here.
Great, thank you both. And then you also notice the Stop Waste logo down here. Stop Waste is a public agency in Alameda County. That's actually where I work. The reason I'm the one here giving this presentation is Stop Waste runs the BayREN multifamily program for the entire Bay Area. So we are the program administrator for this case. And I also just want to quickly note that funding for BayREN comes from ratepayer funding. So every month on your PG&E bill, on the second or third page, there's a small line called the Public Purpose Program Surcharge. It's a bit of a mouthful, and it's usually just a few dollars. That goes to the state, and then the state reallocates those funds back to local groups like BayREN in order to provide these programs. So I like to say, you're essentially already paying for these programs, and we just want you to be able to take advantage. So moving on, as I mentioned, the program we'll be talking about today is called the Bay Area Multifamily Building Enhancements Program, or BAMBI for short, and cover what it entails in just a minute, but some benefits first of why you might want to participate in this program. Essentially what we do is help multifamily properties retrofit and upgrade their buildings to become more energy efficient. And so there's a number of reasons this will help you. And the main is just, it'll help your bottom line. I know for many owners, their property that they own or manage is a really important source of income. And that's the most important piece of why you manage that property. And so upgrading some of the systems in the building, especially the common area or central systems, can drastically reduce your utility bills, save you a lot of money that you are paying to PG&E every month. And it also reduces equipment downtime and maintenance costs. If you have newer, higher performing equipment, it just won't break as much. You don't have to call your contractor to come over once a month to fix things. And then the second big reason that we notice is tenant satisfaction. So we offer both common area and in-unit upgrades as part of our program. And both of these really impact the tenants and the people that live in your building and form a community in your property, both through increased thermal and ambient comfort. So insulation makes the rooms warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, a lot quieter. You'll reduce a lot of those complaints, improved safety and health from when you're not burning gas, you're putting less pollution into the apartment and into the surrounding air, which helps your tenants. And then also, like I mentioned, increased reliability and reduced downtime are likely one of the biggest complaints you get, and will really just improve the overall tenant experience and hopefully reduce vacancy rates a little bit. And then finally, as I'm sure everyone is aware, this is really a time where there's a lot of uncertainty and change, both in the rental housing market and in the energy market in California. And so getting ahead of some of those changes and making some of these retrofits is a great way to make your building more resilient and avoid some of these changes sneaking up on you down the road. And so, for example, many experts in the field expect that energy and water are expected, the price will go up over the next 10, 20 years, especially natural gas. It's expected to get more expensive relative to electricity, and water might get more expensive as well. And so again, getting ahead of that now, making your property a little bit more efficient can really save you a lot of money down the road. And then there's also a lot of requirements and laws coming in that could mean that you actually have to make some of these changes down the road. It varies a lot based on city to city, so I'm not going to get into too many specifics, but the general trend that things are moving is that cities are starting to encourage most buildings to go all electric and slowly get off of natural gas and slowly make their properties a little bit more efficient and a little bit more resilient to things like wildfires, earthquakes, extreme heat waves. And so again, we'll explain a little bit how our program can address those, but we really want you to just start thinking about, what are some of the challenges you might be facing 5, 10 years from now, and how doing some upgrades now can really help you get ahead of those. Then finally, it'll just increase the value of your property if you think you might want to sell at some point. These are things that are really becoming more sought after, and even a lot of tenants and renters are putting a higher priority on things like energy efficiency and indoor air quality, which our program can help with. So in terms of what the program actually offers, there's 2 main components to it. So the first is no-cost technical assistance, and the second is the rebates. So this technical assistance, we work with a really fantastic organization called the Association for Energy Affordability. We'll hear from someone with that group in just a minute. And when you sign up for the program, we'll connect you with a consultant with AEA, and they'll first talk to you on the phone, really understand a little bit about the property, about your needs and goals, and then they'll come out and do a site visit. So they'll look at everything at the property, from the water heater to what kind of windows you have, what kind of insulation you have, and they'll provide a detailed analysis and report, and then work with you to come up with a set of upgrades that will that are the best fit for your property and will really help your property reduce energy, save you and your tenants money. And so they are a really amazing resource. This is all no cost. And then during this process, they can also connect you with contractors, help you find financing. And if there's other programs that you can layer on top of ours, or if our programs it might not be the right fit for you, they can help connect you with other programs that would be the right fit. And like I mentioned, again, this is no cost to you. They don't earn a commission on this, so they're not trying to upsell you on anything. And if you get through part of this process, say you receive that site visit and energy assessment, but then you decide it's not the right time to go through with upgrades, that's totally fine. There's no consequence or obligation to move forward once you've started this process. And then the second key offering of the program is the rebates. And so we offer a flat rebate of $750 per unit. So for example, if you have a 10-unit property, you would, and you go through the program, do some upgrades, you would get a rebate of $7,500. There are some options to increase your incentive above that amount if you include in your scope of work any measures that replace old, inefficient gas appliances with higher efficiency electric alternatives. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And so once you work through the consultant, again, you would decide on a set of 3 or 4 measures that you'll install. You would have 6 months to complete that work. You can work with any contractor you want. And then at the end, we would just come in and do a quick verification, make sure everything is installed correctly and there are no gas leaks or anything like that. And then you would get your rebate check in the mail. And just want to point out here that we do have financing options available. The rebates, it varies how far they go. I would say the typical project, the rebates would cover anywhere from 25 to 50% of the total project cost. But we've seen a number of cases where the rebates will cover upwards of 80 or 90% of the total project cost and really cover almost the entire cost. So financing options are available, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. And then I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is more just for reference when I send a slide that later. But the program is open to, again, any multifamily residential property located in the 9-county Bay Area. It must be served by PG&E, and it must have 5 or more dwelling units. So it's pretty open-ended in terms of eligibility. And we do give priority to certain types of properties, like you can see here. If you don't meet any of these criteria, you would get put on a wait list. But generally, we've found that it's very rare for property to want to go through the program and not be able to get off the wait list. Almost every single case of someone wanting to participate is able to. And so with that, I want to turn it over to my colleague, Nicole Chitness with AEA, and she is one of our energy consultants that you might be working with when you go through the program. And so she's going to explain a little bit more about what that process looks like.
Yeah, well, thank you, Chris, for coordinating this webinar. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Nicole Chitness, and I'm the Bambi Program Manager at AEA. And I also serve as a technical advisor on several Bambi projects. AEA has been proudly providing technical assistance to the program since its inception. In fact, I joined AEA as an energy analyst or a technical assistance provider back in 2014. And in these 7 years with AEA, I feel blessed to have served a total of 292 multifamily properties with over 20,000 multifamily apartment units. In today's webinar, I will be walking through a typical journey of a Bambi participant and very briefly touch upon the common energy opportunities that we typically see in the multifamily sector. I wanted to start with this slide so we could step back and see a more broader picture that shows the average energy consumption by end users in multifamily buildings. As we can see, the domestic hot water with over 40% energy use is a major chunk of this pie. And it is also an important end use given our daily consumption of hot water. Secondary to it is the heating and cooling. And often in the buildings that we see in the Bay Area, they do not even have the space cooling. So that extra load gets added to the domestic hot water and heating. And so that is basically our main focus, followed by other systems and appliances. We also look at the common area lighting, in-unit lighting, and although these are very small percentage of the energy usage, these are the low-hanging fruits, and these are really good opportunities for LED upgrades and such. The refrigerators contribute to about 5% of the overall use. And then finally, the miscellaneous plug loads, they are at 18%, which is a big chunk. But unfortunately, these are the appliances that tenants plug into the outlets. So there's not much of an opportunity there as an owner. And when I'm referring to the domestic hot water end use, we are looking at systems and equipment like water heater or recirculation pump controls, low flow shower heads, and aerators. Whereas upgrades to envelope like roof and wall insulation, windows, or the HVAC systems, they help reduce the space heating and cooling loads. Next slide please. And so, yeah, let's start with our journey together. So after your project is recommended to AEA for technical assistance, a TA or technical advisor is assigned specifically for your project, who would reach out to you for the initial phone consultation. And during this call, we're interested in learning more about your goals as owners, the tenant needs, and we go over some detailed questions that give us fair understanding of your property. Based on this, we send out a pre-site visit memo that serves as a good starting point to understand what opportunities are available and what measures you would like to focus on. Next, we schedule a site visit and we confirm and verify any assumptions that we may have made during our initial phone consultation. We also identify if there are any additional opportunities at the property. Bambi also offers a free combustion safety testing for properties with gas equipment, where we look for any gas leaks, backdrafting, or any issues related to combustion safety that you would need to address. Next slide, please. These visuals here are some common opportunities that we see at the property. On the left is a gas-fired wall furnace. Next on top is the single pane window. Down below, we are seeing the attic with no insulation. And then there is the domestic hot water boiler and the CFL. Next slide, please. After the site visit, the TA proves up the energy savings and includes those findings and recommendations in an energy survey report. After emailing the report, the TA would schedule another call to work with you to tailor a scope that meets all your goals and needs. We help you understand your options when it comes to, say, the traditional pathway, whether only gas-to-gas upgrades, and the clean heating pathway that we are all very excited about, where we are providing the property owners with additional rebates on top of that $750 per unit base rebate to switch from gas to electric. At this point, we connect you with the contractors and make referrals to additional programs that are available to you, so you're able to maximize your rebates by either co-leveraging or stacking the programs. Picture on the right is a snapshot of what typical recommendations look like, and the report has more detailed descriptions below. Next slide, please. Here, I wanted to bring your attention to the additional clean heating pathway adders, or the CHP adders as we've abbreviated, that I spoke about on the earlier slide. And the photos below are those of the electric heat pump water heater, induction cooking, and the package terminal heat pump that are eligible for the clean heating pathway. Next slide, please. This slide shows the typical upgrades that several properties have chosen to meet our program requirements. You'll see the double pane windows, the attic insulation, LED lighting, etc. And then once you have chosen and agreed on a scope of work and you have reserved your rebate, you have 6 months to complete the project. Like Chris mentioned earlier, another good thing about this program is that you can choose any licensed contractor of your choice. And once the work is complete, your TA will complete a combustion appliance safety test and project verifications. And once all that checks out, your rebate check will be sent out in the mail. Next slide, please. Now, I would like to conclude my part of this webinar by quickly introducing to a couple of our happy participants and their projects. Dara's property, Sunshine Gardens, is unique in that it leveraged a wide range of programs and resources, including Bambi and the Green Business Program. The Bambi portion of the project included attic insulation, along with lighting and water fixture upgrades. These upgrades lowered the property's energy usage by 12% and received a $33,000 rebate. This property is now currently undergoing another phase 2, using the clean heating pathway to install the central heat pump water heaters, which is estimated to reduce the energy usage by an additional 33%. And they will receive $48,000 in rebate to make that switch from gas to electric. And then Sunshine Gardens also used additional programs to address areas that were not part of the Bambi program, as they partially financed the upgrades through Fannie Mae Green Mortgage. They partnered with Recology South Bay to drastically reduce the waste going to landfill. And then they also leveraged Santa Clara Valley Water District and installed water-saving devices and resources for their drought-friendly landscaping. They received incentives and resources from PG&E to make additional efficiency improvements in unit with low-income residents. I want to kind of, make it clear here that when they kind of used the rebates through PG&E, those particular measures did not count towards Bambi, because Bambi and PG&E programs come from the same pot, so we cannot be double dipping those. But they were able to kind of stack them and or rather co-leverage them, and basically able to get more rebates out of it. And then here is Spruce Apartments. Unlike the other property, this one is a huge property, is a large property with over 766 units. Their upgrades included windows, lighting, dishwashers, and mini-split heat pumps. and their energy savings is 15.6%, and they received a flat rebate amount of $574,000. With this, I would like to pass it over to the next panelist here.
Great, thank you. I'm actually the next panelist again, so thank you so much. That was really helpful. And please, if you have any questions for anything Sheetal went over, put them in the Q&A and we will do our best to provide a little bit more detail. So I wanted to cover a few additional programs. Like we mentioned, we're not the only program out there that can serve as a resource for you. There are other resources available. So like I mentioned, our rebates typically don't cover the full cost of the project, of the cost to upgrade. And so in order to make up that difference when that's necessary, we can connect you with lenders. And so we don't offer financing ourselves, but we have close connections with a lot of different types of lenders. And so we can find something that works for you. And so you would let your TA know that you're interested in learning more about financing, and then we can help you connect you with either a construction loan, a green mortgage loan, like Sunshine Gardens used, a smaller loan just for a specific piece of equipment, or there's also something called PACE financing, which is another popular option. And then this is obviously not the full list of program resources available. Just want to call out two others that we partner with closely. One is the solar and multifamily affordable housing. This is only available to deed restricted affordable properties, but they will essentially help put solar panels on your roof for free or for very little cost. And then there's also the low income weatherization program. This is a statewide program that provides things like insulation, windows, air sealing, in-unit work for units that are occupied by low-income tenants. And I believe AEA is also the consultants for this program. And so you might even be able to work with the same TA that you work with through our program. And so if your property is either an affordable property or has several lower income tenants, these are both great options, and I will send out the links for both of these in that follow-up email tomorrow. And then also want to call out, I mentioned at the start that BayREN does also offer a program for single family homeowners. So if any of you own a single family home that you live in, this could be a good option. It's up to $5,000 to make various energy efficiency and electrification upgrades. But it could also be an option if you have a smaller multifamily rental property, if it's either 2 to 4 units, or if it's closer to 5, there is a little bit of gray area where that single family program could be a better fit than the multifamily program. So don't want to go into too much detail here since it doesn't apply to everyone, but it works a little bit differently. Again, it's up to $5,000. Your rebate would depend on which measures you choose. So it's not a flat rate like the multifamily. But this is a great fit if you are only doing work on one specific unit and not the entire property. So for example, if you have a vacancy and you just want to do a little bit of work in that unit before a new resident moves in, that can be a great fit. Or again, if you have several smaller buildings. So say you have 10 units on the property, but it's split into 3 buildings that are all 3 or 4 units. And you only want to do work to one of those buildings, again, this could be a good fit for that. And so I'm also the Alameda County representative for this program. So you can either reach out to me or Tonya or Denise, who introduced themselves at the start, and we would all be happy to provide a little bit more information on that program. And then I want to turn it over to Nicole, who's going to talk about the Santa Clara County Green Business Program.
Good evening. My name is Nicole, and I'm a sustainability analyst with the County of Santa Clara's Office of Sustainability. I coordinate this green business program for the County of Santa Clara, and also just happen to be the contact person for the multifamily as well. So you can reach out to me with any questions you have with anything tonight. I just wanted to give you an overview of the green business program. It is a statewide certification that is implemented at the local jurisdiction. All 9 Bay Area counties have a green business program. So for those of you who are in San Mateo County, there is a green business program, and I can connect you with the point person for that. Here in Santa Clara County, it's recognized in all the cities and by the Board of Supervisors. And the certification focuses on helping businesses save energy and water, reduce pollution and solid waste, increase alternative transportation options, and overall reduces your carbon footprint, which can lead to monetary savings. It is free to participate in, and I or any of the staff members working on the green business programs would assist with you and meet with you and walk you through the entire certification process and help to answer any questions you may have. But the goal is to help your property run more efficiently and sustainability. And then there's currently a up to $500 rebate per location to meet with certification costs. So changing out certain like light bulbs to be more energy efficient, or when you're looking at water, changing out water fixtures. And then we also look at things like cleaning supplies you might use or paints you might use. And so the rebate could go towards using more non-toxic alternatives. So if you have any other questions or interest in it, you can visit this website here. And this is the statewide website. So whether you're in San Mateo or Santa Clara, it's the same website. And then feel free to reach out to me if you have any other specific questions, or if you want me to put you in contact with the San Mateo coordinator.
Great, thank you, Nicole. And I do just want to clarify that you are eligible to participate in this program and the BayREN or Bambi program. There's not a restriction on doing one or the other. Okay, so hopefully all of this sounds like something that you are excited about and want to participate in. If you are interested in moving forward, or at least receiving a site visit and energy assessment through with one of our TAs. It's a pretty simple process. So you would enroll online by submitting a brief interest form. And then from there, someone would call you, just do a quick screening to confirm that you are eligible and answer any questions. And then from there, we would connect you with your technical advisor, and they would go through the whole process that she told laid out and schedule that site visit with you. And then once you've worked with them, you would agree again on a set of 3 or 4 measures that you'll do to your property. We'll reserve your rebate, so we'll hold that for 6 months for you while you go out and actually complete the work, install the upgrade. And then from there, you just need to let us know that it's done. And again, come out to a quick verification, and then you will get your check in the mail. So it's fairly straightforward. To get started, this is what the interest form looks like. Again, it takes 5 to 10 minutes at most. And so you can get started by filling out this link right here. I'll put this in the chat, and you can also, or I'll also send it out in that email tomorrow afternoon. So with that, I want to turn it over to our partners with Peninsula Clean Energy, San Jose Clean Energy, and Silicon Valley Clean Energy. So we have Amanda Orozco with San Jose, Colleen McCamey with Silicon Valley, and Peter Levitt with Peninsula Clean Energy. So feel free to take it away.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Orozco, and I'm actually going to keep my camera off if that's okay. I'm having some scary internet things go on right now. So when my camera's off, it's working, and we're going to keep it like that if it's okay. But thank you so much for inviting us to present during tonight's webinar. Again, my name is Amanda Orozco, and I work with San Jose Clean Energy, and I'm joined by Colleen and Peter, and they work for Peninsula Clean Energy and Silicon Valley Clean Energy. We are your local community choice energy programs, and we're here tonight to share some information and resources with you to help you electrify your properties, improve their resilience, and also help you take local climate action. Next slide, please. So there are currently 24 community choice aggregators, also known as community choice energy programs, throughout the state of California. And together we serve more than 11 million customers in almost 200 counties, cities, and towns in the state. CCAs provide competitively priced clean energy options to our customers and reinvest any additional revenue right back into our community through different valuable customer programs. We're public agencies led by staff with lots of experience in the energy industry and municipal utilities. And again, as not-for-profit agencies, we keep our costs competitive and low by not having any shareholders and maintaining a public service culture of customer accountability and transparency. Next slide, please. So in the Bay Area where we all live, there are 8 community choice energy programs. Tonight, Colleen from Silicon Valley Clean Energy, Peninsula Clean Energy, Peter's here, and then I work for San Jose Clean Energy, and together we serve Santa Clara and San Mateo counties. And we're really focused on providing our customers cleaner energy and programs that help fight climate change, create healthier communities, and just a better quality of life. And if you go to the next slide, I'll tell you what a community choice energy program is. So until now, PG&E was a monopoly in providing electricity to our customers. But with community choice, it gives you a little bit more control over your electricity supply and your bill. CCAs build and source clean renewable energy from resources like solar and wind. And then from there, electricity flows through the California electric grid to PG&E's poles and wires, where it's eventually delivered to you at your home or business. PG&E continues to be part of the process. So you're actually being served by a CCA and PG&E. They continue to maintain power lines, respond to any power outages, and provide customer billing. So CCA customers are going to continue receiving one bill, and it's going to be from PG&E, and you're going to see our electric generation line item on the bill. So what that means is basically we're replacing what PG&E would have charged you for sourcing your electricity. It's not an extra charge. It's not a duplicate charge. We get that question a lot. It's just replacing what PG&E would have charged you for electric generation. And again, we have like goals to reduce the use of fossil fuels, which will help lead to lower greenhouse gas emissions, better air quality. And yeah, so that's what a community choice energy program is. And if you have any questions about that, you can drop it into the chat or into the Q&A. And then tonight's presentation, when I hand it over to Colleen and Peter, they're going to help you learn how to electrify your multifamily residences and improve resilience against climate change and power outages. Thank you.
Cool. And then on this next slide here, there we go. So we're going to first talk about some building electrification and resilience. So this is really to help you as a property owner and manager go all electric in the buildings that you manage and own, as well as really increase energy resilience at those facilities and buildings. And so on this next slide here, Peter is going to take it away and talk about some solar and storage opportunities.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thanks again for taking time out of your evening to come out and learn about all of this. Want to echo the gratitude that others have expressed. So, a lot of you are probably somewhat familiar with solar and storage. I'm not clued into the extent that you are, but I'm going to give a nuts and bolts overview of what solar and batteries do to your O&M, your energy costs. I'm not really going to dive into the green aspects of solar and storage, mostly focused on impact to your bill, as well as what it does in terms of backup power. So first of all, solar and storage, affects your bill by reducing the amount that you pay to PG&E because the solar is right there on site and you're consuming from that plant, that power plant, as opposed to drawing from the grid. And so in turn, you're paying a new provider, the solar provider, also a new bill. So you have two bills now, one with PG&E and your community choice energy providers, but also a new one with the solar provider. And combined, you're able to reduce your bill because combined those bills are lower than your original bill. Battery storage also helps with that because you're able to mitigate the expensive evening charges that you might experience as on your energy bill. In using energy in the evening is way more expensive than using it during the day. But instead, you're able to take the solar energy that was being produced during the day and shift it into the evening. So you're drawing less from the grid and drawing more from solar and the batteries. Peninsula Clean Energy is partnering with Sunrun specifically to help deliver these solutions to multifamily housing owners and managers. They are deploying solar and storage and making something called a virtual power plant, where in aggregate, much of our county can be powered by these solar and storage assets if there's enough adoption. It's also highly incentivized currently. As Chris alluded to earlier, there is a solar on multifamily affordable housing incentive program called SOMA. And SOMA is a really, really rich incentive. If you can take advantage of SOMA now, you really ought to look into it. And if you're interested in learning about eligibility details, I'm happy to talk to you one-on-one, or you can email me after this webinar. But they are extremely healthy, enough to almost to cover the entire cost of a solar energy system. It's not exactly free, but it covers a substantial amount of costs and really helps to drive down energy. In addition, there's another program to help incentivize the cost of the batteries themselves, and that is called the SGIP, or Self-Generator Incentive Program. Now, SGIP was funded in 2020 again, but funds are now depleted, and it will likely be refunded again in 2022. SGIP helps deliver batteries at also a very low cost. It's heavily subsidized. And what you can do is, not only is the solar and battery helping you to reduce your electricity costs, but in the face of a power outage, you also have those batteries reserving some of their capacity so that you can provide backup power to a common area where all of your tenants can go and congregate and charge their phones at the common area outlets. It's a really great set of solutions. You can learn more about this offering, the solar and storage offering that Peninsula Clean Energy has, and as well as the one that Silicon Valley Clean Energy has, at the links right here. And again, highly encourage anybody who's interested in learning more to reach out directly. And we have our contact information at the end here. Let's keep going, Chris.
Perfect. Thanks. And I can jump in to talk about some additional assistance for helping multifamily buildings electrify. So this would be for retrofits currently with Peninsula Clean Energy and Silicon Valley Clean Energy. So this would be for properties within San Mateo County and Silicon Valley Clean Energy's service territory, which is 13 communities in Silicon Valley, or in Santa Clara County. And so this program is for free technical assistance for new buildings, or really major upgrades for switching from gas to electric appliances and more whole-scale retrofits. And so this is through a consultant TRC, and it's complementary services that can go either surface level of like basic energy assessments, as well as some in-depth project assistance, such as some diving into more of the aspects of retrofitting with some of our experts. And so information on both of the programs available through PCE and SVCE are available at the URL below. And on the next slide here, we wanted to also bring up the Silicon Valley Clean Energy has eHub, which is online resources and tools to help customers go all electric at home and on the road. We wanted to bring this up today as there are currently promotions for renters to get $50 off of portable batteries. So this is small scale portable batteries for a renter. If the power goes out, they can't necessarily put in a backup storage for their unit, but they can get this small scale battery to charge necessary devices, as well as evaporative coolers. if a property that you own or manage may not have air conditioning, renters can take advantage of $50 off evaporative coolers, which is an efficient way to cool a space without air conditioning, as well as portable air purifiers. Renters can also get $50 off air purifiers, as unfortunately, the air quality is not as good right now, and without major air conditioning units to filter that air, portable air purifiers can be beneficial for renters. And on the next slide here, we also are going to talk about some electric vehicle charging and infrastructure programs available. And so diving right in on the next slide, we have one program with Silicon Valley Clean Energy. I'll pass it back over to Peter for the next slide. For a similar program is a Future Fit Assist EV charging. So this is free technical assistance for multifamily properties to get on-site evaluation and design help, as well as really help with any utility upgrades and assistance in getting financial incentives and rebates for electric vehicle charging at the property. So more and more, residents here in Silicon Valley want to make the switch to electric vehicles, whether that be all electric or plug-in hybrid, and having electric vehicle charging infrastructure at a property can really help not only get new residents to move in, but keep residents, and as well as just be a part of the change that is happening for the switch to all electric vehicles, especially with some of the states' mandates to switch to all electric vehicles in the near future. And so really getting ahead of the game and getting free technical assistance can really be beneficial during this time. So it's information is available on this link, and on the next slide. Peter, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thanks, Colleen. Yeah, I just want to echo that. As more electric vehicles are sold in the Bay Area, the more and more people are going to start demanding from their property owners or turning to different properties that have electric vehicles or electric vehicle charging equipment as an attractive point of for them in considering where they're going to live. And Peninsula Clean Energy in San Mateo County is also developing a very robust charging station deployment program. We're offering $4 million in charging incentives for MUDs in the county. We're offering free technical assistance, which I definitely encourage you folks to take advantage of. The rebates, again, very generous, $4,500 per port, covers a significant portion of the full installation costs. And then, we because we're able to aggregate all of these purchases together, we actually have preferred pricing from EV charging vendors. So going through this program not only provides you with the incentive, but you get a much better deal than if you were to pursue this on your own. And then lastly, we have a network of qualified contractors that are vetted and very, very well equipped with materials to make this whole process pretty easy for you. And here's our webpage if you're interested in learning more.
Thanks, Peter and Colleen. Real quickly, we'll go over some electricity bill assistance programs. If you go to the next slide, these programs are specifically for any of your residents. Throughout the pandemic, a lot of electricity customers have been protected against power disconnections due to non-payment, but these protections are expiring at the end of next month on September 30th. And so if you know your residents are struggling with utility bills, please share these resources with them. They could be eligible for monthly discounts or other payment assistance programs like one-time bill credits for a couple $100, or even debt forgiveness programs for debt forgiveness up to $8,000. So again, if you know someone struggling, please share these resources with them. And with that, it concludes our presentation.
Great, thank you so much. That was a lot of really amazing resources. Again, I know I've said this a few times, but we will send out everyone's contact info and links to all of the programs that we mentioned in an email tomorrow. So if you forgot to write something down, don't worry, just hold on until you get that email, and hopefully you can find it then. and I'm sure you can contact any of the speakers. We'll be happy if you have questions that don't get answered tonight. If you contact them later on, I think we are all happy to help and work with anyone who wants to take advantage of any of these programs. So with that, again, here's the contact info for everyone again. Then I think we have about 8 minutes to go for any Q&A. So I'm not seeing any questions currently in the box, but reminder, there's that Q&A box down at the bottom of your screen. So please put questions in there and we can all hang out for about 8 more minutes to answer anything you might have. And actually, since there's not many questions, if you would prefer, if I see there's one listener who's on the phone, and so if you would prefer to ask your question, please just raise your hand. Or actually, I guess the one person who is on the phone, I will just allow you to talk. But for everyone else, you can raise your hand and we're happy to let you unmute if you would rather ask your question that way. So I do see a question here. How many programs can you apply for? The answer is really, it depends. Most of the, so with the BayREN or the Bambi program that BayREN offers specifically, you can go through that program up to 2 times and do separate measures each time. And then really, most of these programs, I would say you could go through multiple of them. We talked about that case study of Sunshine Gardens and Mountain View where they really leveraged about 6 different programs. So really what it comes down to is where the funding comes from for those programs. And so there's certain programs where the funding comes from the same pot of money. And so we're not allowed to double dip. But with most of these, for example, you could install a new water heater through the BayREN program, and then go through your CCA program to install EV chargers, and then also go through the SOMA program to install solar panels. Most of these, it would be okay to stack, for example, all 3 of those and really do a much more significant upgrade than any of us can offer on our own. I see another question. Will this workshop be available for viewing online at a later date or time? And thanks, Tonya. The answer is yes. I'll hopefully send out a recording in that email tomorrow, and we will also upload it to our BayREN YouTube page for viewing there.
I just want to jump in. I just want to jump in real quick. I saw in the poll there were a few property owners and managers from San Mateo County. I expect to hear from you. I really want to meet you guys. I want to hear what you're interested in working on, and I want to help support you guys. So, you know, you'll get these slides with my contact info, and the onus is going to be on you guys. But I encourage you to reach out, and I'm sure the others on this presentation feel the same.
Thanks,
Yes,
Peter.
Yeah. We're all in this work to help you guys. So please, like, it's not a burden. We want people to reach out and ask us questions and ask for help. We want to help you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Ron actually had his hand raised, and it looks like you put it down. But Ron, if you would like to chat, let us know, and you can raise your hand, and we'll unmute you.
Here, actually, I'll allow Ron to talk if you want to make a comment. Ron, if you're on mute, but if you want to answer your question, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Ron, we can hear you.
Hi, I had a question. I don't know if this is something I'd follow up tomorrow on, but I have a 8-unit apartment building, and I have on the top floor, it's 5 units, and they all have the beam ceilings. And that's one of my big problems, trying to keep them cool. And I don't really know how to go about trying to insulate it, or, you know, which way would work to cool it down to 5 units up above.
Yeah, it's a great question. Sheetal, if you're still on, that sounds like a good question for you.
Perfect. So I suppose you said that it's like a flat roof.
Well, it's torn gravel. It has a pitch to it, but it's just when they built this apartment building, it's 8 units, and back when they built it, I think it was 63. You know, the beam ceilings look nice in there, but as far as, you know, the heating, you know, trying to keep it cool is the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to kind of look at, you know, installing new roof, maybe you could add a roof insulation on top of the roof. So that could be one of the options.
Okay. So that's something I could actually follow up with on the information I'll get tomorrow in email or.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to fill out an interest form on our website. I sent that link. It's the bayren.org. Actually, it's right here, bayren.org/multifamily. I encourage you to just fill out an interest form, and then yeah, we could connect you with someone who it's a little bit hard, you know, just on a single question to be able to know exactly what the right solution is. But we could definitely work with you to take a closer look at the property and see if there is a solution other than replacing the roof, or if that really is the best route forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just going to add that also insulation is a good way to bring down the heating and cooling loads. So apart from, you know, roof, you could also look at insulating the walls, but that's something, again, you know, once you enroll into the program, we could look into more details about your project, and then could be able to kind of, you know, come up with a scope of work that might work best for your property.
Okay. And then one other question, does this have anything to do with like swimming pools? And I just have a regular, you know, heater, older style. So it's all, you know, within 5 years of being put in there. But I've seen other buildings that have the solar for the swimming pools too.
Mm-hmm. So for the swimming pools, there are definitely a number of measures associated with pools, like maybe, let's say your pool pump, if it's currently a single speed pool pump, there is an opportunity to go for a variable speed pool pump. If your pool is currently gas heated, you might want to consider, you know, switching to either a electric heat pump pool heater, or if you would like to stick with gas, and there is also an opportunity to upgrade to a condensing or a higher efficiency gas pool heater.
Okay.
So there are a number of options there.
Okay.
And these measures could also count towards your minimum number of measures required for program eligibility. So yeah, those are good energy upgrade measures.
And then I see the 7, but we do have one actually question that's related to this. Someone asked, in the current property that's being discussed, would fans be covered? So I assume that means like an attic fan or a whole house fan, if that's an option.
Yeah, on my particular building, the way it's set up, with the beam ceilings, there's no real attic. The only attic is like above the bathroom. So I try and put those ceiling fans in, but it's still, you know, when it gets hot around here, it gets pretty warm in there for these different units.
Yeah, and unlike the regular like attics where there is a scope to kind of insulate up to, let's say, 38, like up to 10 to 12 inches of insulation, with these, you know, cathedral or the flat roofs, there's limited scope there. But there is also an opportunity, depending upon what scope you would like to go for, you could add insulation on top of the roof.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the best thing for me to do is
And then also like the other CC is just mentioned, like if solar is on your, you know, mind, then maybe we could kind of come up with something which would have electrification and pair that with solar PV and get it done at the same time.
Okay. So yeah, I'll follow up on this from, you know, when I get the information tomorrow.
Yeah, because there are going to be a lot of options, and you really would be able to kind of pick and choose what you would like to pursue at what point.
Okay.
Thank you, Ron, for your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to following up with you. And I would just say, I put it in the chat, but not seeing any additional questions pop up. Feel free to put any last minute questions in. We want to be mindful of everyone's time. It is a little bit over 7, but just thank you all so much for being able to join us. We'll hang out for a few more seconds to see if any last minute questions pop off or pop up. But if not, thank you again for joining us this evening. We hope this webinar was helpful and valuable, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. So thank you all. Chris,
Thank
I'll
you,
hand it
everyone.
over to you in case there's anything else you wanted to add.
No, I think you covered it. Yeah, we played around a few different times of days, and we wanted to try an evening one in case people were busy during the day. So really appreciate all of you coming out, and hope this, timing and this format works for you. And again, we really hope you follow up with us.
And thank you so much to our co-presenters.
Yeah.
I was gonna say thank you to our co-presenters.
Oh, yes. of course.
Silicon Valley Clean Energy, San Jose Clean Energy, and Peninsula Clean Energy. We couldn't have done this without you, so thank you so much. And to Sheetal with AEA, so thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thanks.